At Cleveland Speedway have prepared all night and all day to provide a nearly perfect racetrack service. And the Havatampa late model explosion of speed is about to begin. The beautiful hills of southeastern Tennessee look down on Cleveland Speedway, where we've come to watch the Havatampa Race Series for race number 11 in the big long season for the $1.5 million purse money. Hello, race fans. I'm Trace Ali, along with Mark McCarter, and there's history everywhere around us, from Lookout Mountain way over that way to the racetrack we're standing in front of.
That's right, southeast Tennessee, full of history. A little personal history for me, Trace. First race I ever saw here at this Speedway. My grandfather brought me here. I was 5 years old. About 20 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, give or take 20. And of course, this particular racetrack has its own history because Joe Lee Johnson is the owner of it. For those of you who don't know, Joe Lee Johnson won the first World 600, now known as the Coca-Cola 600, at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He's prepared a great racetrack, though. That's what he does best now. And he's also got a son involved.
Ronnie Johnson will be starting the 6th spot tonight. Trace, you had a chance to visit with him earlier today.
Ronnie Johnson began his race career right here at Cleveland, Tennessee Speedway. It was a bit of an ignominious or rough beginning for you, Ronnie. Is that true?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but first time I raced, I've been here a bunch of times, seen my dad race and helped a bunch of people with their cars and stuff, but the first time I raced, I think I hit the wall on the front straightaway after having to start in the back and not knowing what to expect. You know, I hit the wall, my arm spun around, my elbow knocked the seatbelt right loose. So that's the first time I raced. That was clear back in 1973. It was like the week after I graduated from high school.
Talk a little about the season and how it's gone so far for you. Has it gone somewhat close to prediction or just too many surprises to tell yet?
We've been running well. Actually, the car's been fast. We haven't won a race yet this year. We've had some second, third, fourth place finishes. But early in the year, we'd be running good and we'd break. You know, we've been doing well. We just need to get up there. We're really wanting to win one, and, you know, that would help everything a lot.
And as Ronnie Johnson says, this track's going to have a lot of interesting conditions to deal with tonight. But one of the most interesting conditions is all race car drivers need big sponsorship to really compete. But we've got a guy sitting in the field tonight, Mark, that's working without the big sponsorships.
That's right. He's Jamie Perry from Ringgold, Georgia, about 50 miles from here.
Whenever the big people come in, you know, all the money and stuff, it's kind of hard to compete. But there's an advantage to running here every week. I mean, you get to run every week. You get to set your car up and know what the racetrack's going to do. And it builds up a pretty good confidence level, being able to run here every week.
Mark Miner from Stockbridge, Georgia, has had quite a run of luck and some real driving skill put to the test here the last couple of weeks, but it's been looking really good. Mark, you finished second last week at the race, and prior to that, you've been running close to the front quite a bit lately in the Havatampa Series.
Well, we've just been having some real good luck at the races. The car's been set up good, and that puts us towards the front at the start of the race, and that just helps out a bunch when you start in the front.
Well, Bloomquist obviously is a story here, and you've been the one challenging him the most lately.
Well, we kind of just fell into this track and run pretty good. Last year's Havatampa race, we started on the front row outside next to Bloomquist, and we run second to him. So, and then here earlier this year, they had another 100-lap race, and we qualified second once again, ended up third, but still we had a good run.
There's always a matter of luck involved. Is there anything in particular Scott Bloomquist is doing to carry a little extra luck in the car tonight?
I don't know. You know, I believe in good preparation is good luck. So, you know, you have a little bit of luck when it comes to flat tires and things like that. And, you know, I don't know. We feel pretty aggressive tonight. I just have to keep myself calmed down and stay out of the fences and, you know, try to stay off the other cars. That's where a lot of your bad luck comes in. You know, you get into some cars and it causes tires to be cut down, and that just starts for a bad luck weekend, you know. So it's a pretty tight racetrack, you know, and you got to really plan your passes, and when you're going to get by somebody, you got to make it happen the first time, or they'll be sure you don't get by the next time if they get to see you. So you know, you got to really race this racetrack.
Scott Bloomquist is last season's champion and the current points leader, but he's going to be challenged by many other drivers tonight. Stay with us. We're coming back with highlights of last night's qualifying for the Havatampa Dirt Track Racing Series. Race with the Land Group.
I'm Gene Snow, and I believe in using the best equipment to do the job. I want the best without overpaying to have the best, just like you do.
With King Communications, you'll have low-cost, high-quality
Spring Service, covering the racing spring industry like no one else. American Motorsports, your warehouse for all your oval track, dirt, or asphalt racing needs. And by the Havatampa Dirt Racing Series, rocking and roaring to a track near you and smoking to the finish. As good as it gets. That's what we saw last night with the heat racing here at Cleveland Speedway in Tennessee. We're going to take a look right now, Mark, at some of those highlights. The race for the pole position got underway with Scott Bloomquist on the pole, but quickly found himself behind Stan Massey, who shot ahead and quickly grabbed the lead. Stan Massey from Mableton, Georgia, definitely found the setup right away to be to his liking on Cleveland Speedway. But Scott Bloomquist, of course, would spend the next 10 laps trying to show him that it wasn't going to be that easy to maintain the lead. But Stan Massey continued to run freely and open the lead in the straightaways, although being caught up just a little bit by Scott, as you saw there in the turns. But Stan Massey ran smoothly, took the lead, and had no problem staying in front of Scott for the remainder of this lap, and would take the checkered flag to take the pole position in the feature race on Saturday night. So advancing with Stan Massey, the 22 car, number 18 car in second, of course, Scott Bloomquist, along with John Jones and Jake Lowry. In heat race number 2, on the inside, Chattanooga, Tennessee's Ronnie Johnson in number 5 quickly found himself falling into second as Baton Rouge, Louisiana's Freddie Smith in the 00 car leaped to the front. The GBS racing team has had not a lot of success at Cleveland Speedway with 2 smacks into the wall and 1 no finish, but on this particular night in this heat race, Freddie Smith was the car to beat, looked very smooth, ran beautifully down the front straightaway to take the checkered flag to advance along with Ronnie Johnson from Chattanooga, number 77 Robbie Starnes from Houston, and number 51 Frank Thompson from Franklin, North Carolina. In heat race number 3, Mark Miner in the 7 car swerved slightly at the beginning but held the low side as he got around under and inside Rick Auckland from Fargo, North Dakota, but Rick came right back to chase him down, trying to go inside once again as they neared the end of the first lap. But Mark, staying on the high, somewhat middle side of the racetrack, held him off. But behind him in C28, Kenny Merchant, running second in the rookie points so far in the 1995 Havatampa Series, held off 2 other cars behind him, including Clint Smith. Back to the front, though, Mark Miner, still holding basically the same low line, went just a little lower to keep Rick Auckland in tow, while Kenny Merchant in C28 got into Clint Smith as they went into turn 1, but Clint held it, and so did Kenny Merchant as they both sped on down the track. Mark Miner would take the heat race and be joined by Rick Auckland, Jeff Stansbury, and Clint Smith as they would move into the feature for the final night. In Heat 4, the big race started with Dale McDowell with the biggest engine of the lot that particular night, racing slightly ahead of Jamie Perry in the P4 car. It looked like he was going to run away with it on the straightaway because he had the extra power to run. But Jamie kept sticking the nose of the car right in there of the P4 car, making sure that it wasn't going to be an easy run for Dale McDowell for the entire race. Dale held him off basically by blocking him going into the turns, but in the straightaways, Jamie held his own in the P4 car and came inside to get around Dale as Dale lost traction and went to the high side. Dale McDowell in the number 17 car was driving with the largest engine of the field due to the fact that he had lost 3 engines over the last 3 races and had only the large, high-powered motor to run. Of course, the extra weight caused handling problems, and handling problems occurred also for the number 9 car with Frank Ingram coming out of turn 2. On the second restart with about 3 laps to go, again smoothly slipping ahead of Dale McDowell, the P4 car of Jamie Perry was the car to beat. He rode smoothly down the racetrack, headed on the white flag lap around the final turn, looking like it was going to be no contest. Suddenly had to go to the outside to avoid a stalled car in turn 4, but racing to the flag would take that particular win for heat race number 4. Joined by Dale McDowell, Dwayne Smith, and Granger Howell of Kingston, Georgia. These heat races would put the top 16 into the final and 8 more added to the feature in Saturday night consolation racing. Stand by. We're going to go racing for 100 laps with the Havatampa Dirt Racing Series right after this.